Do the old drums, do the vintage drums really sound better or worse than the newer drums? Today's snare battle will try to answer that question, at least for one model. Right here we have a late 1920s, early 1930s Super Ludwig. It has been restored. It has modern heads on it. The snares are original to the drum. It is one of the early parallel strainer models. And a classic. It is a two-piece brass shell. The bead in the middle was originally done to combine the two pieces, and it has claw hooks on the 10 lugs, and I have put Evans heads on top and bottom and tuned them to 90 psi on top and 80 on the bottom. Over here we have this drum's great-grandson, if you will. This is a Ludwig Black Beauty, super sensitive. It is a brass shell. It is approximately 2003-2004 drum, early Monroe badge with a serial number. Again, I have put the identical Evans heads, top and bottom. I have tuned it to 90 psi on top and 80 psi on the bottom. Both drums have a single gel on them. I had to do that because they were interfering with each other, and this is a very small room. This drum costs approximately $1,200 to $1,400 in good condition, and they are available. I see them come up on Reverb and Facebook and eBay occasionally in various stages of condition. These drums as well, while they're not as popular or as common as the normal Black Beauties, you can still buy super sensitive Black Beauties, and they have a very specific role, if you will, in my mind, and I'll come back and talk about that later. Right now I'm gonna get my legs as far apart as they'll possibly go here and try to give you a good sound sample of both drums. They are running through microphones, and there are no effects applied to these drums. You're getting the raw sound, if you will. So let's play them for a little bit, and then I'll be back to tell you what I hear in person and how I use these drums. So, as you can hear, the older drum is a little darker, maybe even a little bit, half a step down on the tone, even though they're tuned identically. It does not have as many snares on its snare wire. It is 12 snare wires, this one is 14. And you can hear the crispness of the newer drum. It also rings a little bit more. I would not tour or gig, at least steadily, with this older snare. It's harder to find parts for. I always worry about old metal being brittle, if you will, especially in the throw-off mechanism and the snares. This is a studio drum, and this is really the same shell as the infamous Hitmaker. In the early 2000s, late 1990s, early 2000s, the Black Beauty equivalent of this, which is actually called a Ludwig Deluxe, was very high demand. People started calling it the Hitmaker. It was very popular in the studios. And this is the same shell without the engraving and with the more complex parallel throw. The sound is pretty much, I think, the same, at least of those early deluxe models that I played. The parallel strainer on the Super Sensitive and the Black Beauty, a lot of guys don't like to use those for gigs and for touring, and I can kind of understand why. It is a more complex throw. It's a little harder to adjust to get it just the way you want it, to get it just right. But these are great drums for swing, for church services. They are very, very sensitive, as the name implies, and you can play them at a low volume and still get a lot of snare sound. I hope that came through in the recording as I was playing. I was not really hitting either drum really, rock and roll hard, really doing high velocity strikes. But they will handle that and handle it pretty well. But what these drums are for is light playing, ghost notes, things like that, and thus the sensitivity comes into play. Anyway, they are both just outstanding drums, great instruments, and I think each has its purpose. And there is a significant difference in the vintage drum sound versus the newer drum sound. And I think that probably came through pretty well. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next snare battle, and best of luck to all of you.